My name is Mandar, and I am the lead mentor for IMS in Delhi. I handle the law and BBA program for some of the centers. And I thought that we'll keep this session so that we can interact with all of you on what is it like, how do we prepare for law entrances? Because my objective today is that I thought that when I was doing law, right, or when I had decided, when I was of your age, right, what were the challenges I had faced, right? I wasn't aware as to which law school should I go for, how should I go about it, what are the entrance exams like, what are the subjects like, how do I prepare for it? So all of these things, I thought that I'll interact with all of you, and maybe in the next 1.5 hours or 2 hours, we'll be having a wonderful discussion and interaction with all of you, helping you with all these questions which you must be thinking about, okay? So I can see that whatever I just said, I can see that there are students from all the sections that I talked about. So there are students from 11th, 12th and graduation. So whenever whatever I talk about in the next 1.5 hours, I will speak about all the colleges that are relevant for you. I will speak to you about stream selection, because I can see a lot of students have just gotten into 11th or will be getting into 11th. So stream selection is one question that I get a lot. Ki sir, 10th ke baad mein kya stream selection kare if we are going for law? In fact, you'll be very surprised. I was talking to this student few days back. She told me, sir, I want to go for law, right? And then I said, okay, when do you want to begin? So she said, sir, I'm in the 9th standard right now. You tell me when should I begin, and I can begin my preparation right away. So I said, okay, chill. Okay, you are in your 9th standard right now. No need to begin so early. Okay, finish your 10th, and after 10th, you can begin your preparation. That's a very good time to begin. Okay, and I'll talk about that aspect also, because a lot of students and parents ask me, sir, when is the right time to begin? When should we ideally prepare for our law entrances? So I thought that in this session, I'll guide you with respect to all these queries that you have. So we will talk about stream selection. We will talk about who should go for law as a career option. We will talk about colleges. We will also talk about why is it necessary that we go to these topmost colleges, because students को ना या आप लोगों को अभी लगता है कि अच्छा IITs are topmost or IIMs are topmost, or for example in law, which all of you would be going for in future, NLUs are the topmost. But what differentiates these colleges? What differentiates NLUs from other colleges, and why 50, 60, 70,000 people want to go there, right? So there must be some reason, right? So we will talk about that also. And then I will show you what are the subjects are like. So we will do some questions also in legal aptitude, because I know all of you would be aware that there is a subject called legal aptitude if you go for CLAT and other entrances, right? How many of you are aware that there is a subject called legal aptitude? Okay, great. So what I'll do is we'll solve 2-3 questions on legal aptitude so that you get an idea as to what kind of questions come as part of this subject. And then I will tell you as to how we can help you in reaching these top dream colleges of yours, okay? Because we don't want that you ever compromise with your college, okay? Let's begin now. So as I said, today's session will be a complete guide on how to prepare for your law exams, okay? But before that, let me give you a very brief idea about how do you decide on your career, okay? Because eventually in the morning session also, sir would have definitely elaborated on this as to what all career options are available to all of you. But before I tell you about stream, I thought that this is something that you should be definitely aware of, okay? So see, one thing is that whichever career option you decide to go in, and most of you have already decided to go for law, and that's a wonderful thing, right? So first thing that we have to look at always is our interest, whether what we are doing is something that we really want to do, or is it something like कि नहीं friend ने बोल दिया कि नहीं यार law is a very good career option तो चलो कर लेते हैं मजे मजे में, मैथ्स पसंद नहीं है हमको और फिजिक्स हमसे संभलनी नहीं है तो चलो लॉ कर लेते हैं. That may not be the right approach. Okay, you should have some interest in the area that you're planning to go for in future. And I hope this session today and the session Daksh sir did in the morning would have definitely helped you understand whether you find this complete area interesting or not, right? Then obviously we have to look at the scope also, right? Because eventually we can't, or we would not like to go into a career right? Where there's no scope, there's no jobs, there's no exposure. The colleges that we go to are not of that great standard, so nobody would want that also, right? So first thing that we have to look at is our interest. Second thing that we have to look at is what is the scope of this career in future. And with respect to at least this point, I would like to congratulate all of you, because you have made a wonderful choice by getting into this particular area, or if you are willing to go into this particular area, because the scope of law as a career option is increasing every single day. There is a reason why 60-70,000 students every single year, they want to get into law, they want to get into law schools, right? And third, we also have to look at what is our ability, right? This is something that we generally tend to ignore. That do you think we are something, or our interests are like that can take us to the law school, or whether we have what it takes to go there. Okay, so let me come to that. So what we have to look at is, we have to look at that sweet point in between, right? We have to look at our interest, we have to look at the scope, and then we have to look at our ability also. So a lot of students, they also ask me, sir, is it that anybody can go for law, or is there some kind of special qualities that we require so that we can become a great lawyer? I will come to that also. Okay, but let me first deal with how to select your stream after 10th standard. Now, one thing that is amazing about law as a career is that you can go into this particular career with any stream. Science, commerce, arts, doesn't matter. You can go to these law schools, you can prepare for the entrance exams, and you can crack them. Okay, now minimum eligibility. So now one more thing that students ask me is, sir, how do we maintain that balance? How do we prepare our 12? Because 12, I completely understand, can be a big experience in itself, right? It's tough, no doubt about it. So how do we prepare for the entrance exams along with our 12th, right? So both of these questions I'll deal with together. So eventually keep in mind that your board exams will not be considered for your admission into these law schools. Okay, the minimum eligibility to get into these law schools, or to write the entrance exam, is between 45 to 50%. Okay, so in CLAT it is generally 45%, right? So if you got 45% in 12, now I'm not saying you should get 45%, right? If you get 45%, you are still eligible to write the exam, and your admission will be completely dependent on your entrance exam score. Now that does not mean, as I said earlier, that we have to get 45%, we have to get 50%, we have to get 60%. My objective of telling you all this is that you can maintain a healthy balance between your 12 studies and your entrance exam studies. Okay, because eventually keep in mind, if you get 95% in 12th, and if you're not able to crack the entrance exam, you're not going to get into the law school, right? Because they're not going to consider your 12th percentage for admissions. But at the same time, it does not mean that we don't have to pay attention our 12th. It is important. It will be required for your basic qualifications when you go into your law school. So try maintaining that decent percentage that you can get in your 12th. Okay, now when it comes to stream selection, okay, I always recommend students that first criteria to select a stream should always be your interest. Okay, you can't select something that you thought, अरे यार इसमें career options बहुत अच्छे हैं future में, so let me take science irrespective of whether I have interest in it or not. That is a very, very bad approach. Okay, if people would have thought like this, no, they would have never reached where they are, right? So first thing to look at is always your interest. So if you're taking science, do you genuinely find physics, chemistry, mathematics, or biology to be that interesting so that you can carry it for 2 years? So interest should always be the first criteria. Now the second criteria is, can I handle a subject when I'm giving my best for the entrance exam also, right? Because you have to prepare for the entrance exam at the same time. So can I, if I take science, maths, or whatever subjects I take, can I handle it with my entrance exam preparation? That is the second most criteria. You should select your stream on the basis of these two criteria, because see, as I said, your 12th percentage will be of very little consequence when you go for your CLAT exam, or whether you go for most of the major law entrance exams in future. Okay, so that is something that you should always think in mind. first select a subject as per my interest, and second, whatever I've selected, can I handle it with my entrance exam preparation or not? Okay, so I hope you will keep this in mind, especially the students who are yet to select the stream. Most of you have already done it. It's completely fine, whatever stream you have selected, especially students who are in 12th standard. Okay, but as I said, anybody who is even in 12th or after 12th or even in graduation, maintain this balance between both the things. Okay, uh, coming to the question as to who should pursue law, right? Now, you don't require any special qualities, okay, in your school life that, okay, I should be a big debater in my school, or I should go and participate in as many MUNs as I want to, or I should be a very good writer, or I should be because a lot of students tell me, sir, I'm going for law because I debate all the time. Okay, that is something I like. I debate with my parents, I debate with my teachers, I debate in school. That makes me feel like I should go for law as a career option, right? Now, there are some things that you should develop over time. These are things which you need not require right now, but these are the things you should develop over time. And when you go to law school, right, these are the things that will be required. So when you go to law school, you will automatically start working on all these things, right? So the first thing obviously is good people and communication skills, right? A lawyer should always know how to talk to people, right? Otherwise, can you imagine a lawyer who goes to the court and he's shy, शर्मा रहा है, वो उसको बोला ही नहीं जा रहा है, right? There can't be a lawyer like that, right? So good people, communication skills, that confidence in you is a must, okay? And that does not mean that you need to have it right now. As I said, this is something that you will automatically build when you go to law school. I have seen students, in fact, when I was in my first year of law school, I saw people who couldn't talk to people, who couldn't talk to the professors. But when they graduated, right, they were one of the best debaters, one of the best mooters, and people who had genuinely good skills of communication, right? So this is something that you will work over time. Then logical thinking, right? A lawyer can tell you how two similar things are different, right? How? Because they can logically think. Again, when you prepare for this entrance exam, right, logical thinking will be a very important part of it. Okay, you have a entrance subject called logical reasoning, plus when you go for legal aptitude or other subjects, right, this is one quality that you will definitely build, right? Then the third thing is voracious reading. Okay, now there is this perception about lawyers, right? The lawyers are extremely boring, always into books, and they have these huge books they have to read all the time, right? That's not the case. See, reading is important to any profession, including law, right? So in law also, you get to read books, you have to prepare your cases. If you're not prepared, you will insult yourself in front of others, right? So voracious reading is important, okay? But when you go to law school and when you enter your library, right, you will see those thick, large books, okay? But out of those large books, you have to take out maybe 1 or 2 pages which are relevant for you, and that is something that you have to do. So it's not like you have to be into books all the time, okay? But a good reading habit is something that you should definitely build, okay? This is something that you should begin right now. So you need not start with any novels or big authors or anything. You can start with newspaper reading, okay? Newspaper reading will give you that habit. It will make you read a little bit, and then if you want, you can switch to novels or whatever you want to. How many people here do you read on a regular basis? And all the students can also raise their hands who read a newspaper daily. Very good, exceptional. Yeah, there's so many students who read, and that's a very good habit, and I want all of you to continue this habit, right? And all the other students who feel like reading is boring, as I said, just begin with the newspaper you like, or whatever you like. If you like spy novels or whatever kind of novels you like, start reading it. This is something that will be necessary when you go to law school, okay? So now after covering this area, now let's talk about how can you, okay? So now we have talked about what you need, but how can you reach these top dream institutes which all of you want to go for in future, right? So before I tell you about this, right, I want to tell you that law programs are generally of two types, okay? One, which is the most popular one, is the law program that students do after their 12th standard, okay? So if you are just finishing your 12th, You can write all these entrance exams which happen in May, June. This year they have been postponed because of COVID, but generally you will see that these exams happen in the month of May every year. Okay, so that is one way. The second way, which although less students go for, but is definitely an option, is law after your graduation. Okay, so many people who are in their second year of graduation, third year of graduation, right, rather than doing a 5-year law, what they do a 3-year law after their graduation. So 5-year law after 12th will take 5 years, as I said. Law after graduation will take 6 years. It will take one additional year. Okay, so let's first talk about law after 12th, which most of you are going for, right? So it's a 5-year integrated program. You get a BA LLB honors. In some colleges, you also get BBA LLB. BSc LLB also is available in a couple of colleges. But the common and the most important degree that you get is the BA LLB honors. So science students also go for BA, commerce students also go for BA, and humanities students also go for BA. But if you feel like, nahi, sir, I am a commerce student, I feel like, no, I should try for BBA LLB, you can go for it. But that should not be a criteria to select a law school. And I'll come to that. Okay. So after 12th, you can get into these law schools. You will do your 5-year program. So you will save 1 year. With that, as part of your law school journey, you will be attending courts. You will be doing internships in law firms, big companies, right? Wherever you want to. You will attend legal aid camps. You will go out. You will be part of societies. You will be part of various things which happen in the college. And then by 4th or 5th year, depending on your interest, you can get into a law firm, you can get into a company, you can become a judge. Whatever you want to do in future, that is something that you can immediately do after finishing your 5 years in law school. Okay, so that is how it generally works, and I'll give you more idea about what the law schools are like in some time. Okay, one more thing that students generally ask me is, sir, should we go for a BA LLB honors, or should we go for BCom LLB, or should we go for BBA LLB? See, keep in mind, BA, BBA or BCom is not going to decide your career. Okay, your career will be decided on the basis of the LLB you do and from where you are doing that LLB. Okay, so it doesn't matter which stream you come from in 11th and 12th. Try your best to get into the topmost law school in India. Okay, so if you get, for example, the topmost law school in India like NLS Bangalore, right, you can't say, sir, they are offering BA LLB, I don't want to go there. Maybe I'll go to some other mediocre law school which offers a BBA LLB, right? That is not the correct approach. Okay, select the college not on the basis of which degree you are getting, but what is the value of that degree. Okay, and as I said, the topmost law schools in India only have one degree, which is BA LLB honors. Okay, so science, commerce, arts students, all of them, they go for one degree. Okay, so keep this also in mind, and if you need any more clarity later on, we'll definitely interact one-on-one with you and we'll help you out. Okay, now one request to all of you is that in the end of this session, I will give you as much time as you want to quiz me. Whatever questions or doubts you have with respect to law as a career or how to prepare, everything I'll answer in the end. So my request is that wait for some time, let this session to get over, and then ask me as many questions as you want. Okay. Now, coming to what are the topmost law schools in the country. Okay. So how many of you have heard of NLUs, National Law Universities? Raise your hands. Great. Wonderful. Now, apart from NLUs also, there are many other options. So I thought I'll compile a list of good colleges, the topmost colleges in India, which all of you can go for. On the left-hand side, when you see where you see NLS Bangalore, Hyderabad, Kolkata, Delhi, Jodhpur, Bhopal, Haryana, these are all the topmost law schools in the country. Okay. And Bangalore, Hyderabad, Kolkata, Delhi, Jodhpur, Bhopal, all of these are national law universities. Okay. And one thing that you would have noticed here is that all the national law schools have very, very limited seats. एक IIT में आप जाओगे ना, 1000-1500 से seats कम नहीं होते वहाँ पर. Same is with IIMs, 300, 400, 500 seats in one IIM, right? But when you look at an NLU, right? Look at the topmost NLU in India, which is NLS Bangalore. It has 80 seats only. So the topmost 80 students from all over the country, they study here. So last year, around 58,000 students applied for the exam. And out of that, the top 80, went into NLS Bangalore. Because see, eventually these colleges, they want to maintain really good quality of students, because if the students are good, the entire environment of that college changes. Okay, so they want to ensure that quality is there. The faculties also are able to interact with the students in a much better way. So ये सब चीजें बहुत important होती है, and that is the reason why all the NLUs that you will find have very limited seats, maximum up to 180 to 190 seats. Okay, so let's look at all these options. So Bangalore, Hyderabad, Kolkata, Delhi, Jodhpur, Bhopal. If you see Mumbai, Gandhinagar, Raipur, Lucknow, Patiala, all of these are national law universities. Okay, and if you want to get here, you will have to write an exam called CLAT, which is Common Law Admission Test. Okay, then there are some other law schools also which all of you can go for. For example, the first category of colleges which you can see, you have Jindal Global Law School in Sonipat, Haryana. Right now, it's a private law school, but a very good law school which all of you can go for. Now, they don't come under CLAT. They have a separate entrance exam of their own called LSAT India. Okay, so this is again one college which you can try apart from NLUs. Similarly, you can see in the second list of colleges, which are again A+ colleges, Symbiosis Law School in Pune, okay, Government Law College in Mumbai, Indian Law Society in Pune, and NMIMS School of Law, Narsi Monji Institute of Management Studies School of Law. इनका भी एक law school है, किरीट बी मेहता School of Law. Okay, so that also is a private law school, but a very good law school, which all of you can go for. Okay, so if you look at the NLUs, right, there are 22 NLUs in right now which are part of CLAT. So if you want to get into all of them, you will have to write CLAT exam. Okay, if you want to get into Jindal, for example, you will have to write an exam called LSAT India, right? Symbiosis Law School in Pune, and they are at other places also like Noida. You will have to write an exam called Symbiosis Law Admission Test, SLAT. Okay, so that is the entrance exam for Symbiosis. The two colleges which you can see, GLC and ILS in Pune, these two colleges take admission through an entrance exam called Maharashtra Law CET. Okay, so if you want to get into these two colleges, you will have to write that entrance exam. And NMIMS Law School, they take admission through CLAT scores. So you need not write a separate entrance exam. You can go here with your CLAT score itself. Okay, so these are the topmost. These are your target colleges. These are your dream colleges which you have to go for in future. Eventually, there are many other colleges apart from these, but these are the topmost in India. Okay, and if you have decided that you want to get into law, right, as I said earlier, your always thought should be that we have to go into the best ones. Okay, so these are the best colleges. Later on, if you want, we can have a one-on-one interaction also, and we'll give you a list of many more colleges as part of CLAT and other exams. Okay, just to give you a glance at NLU Life. Okay, because as I always tell students that when you go to law school, it's more than what you find in your classroom or what you do while you read those lengthy books that I was talking about, right? There are so many other things that students do as part of their law school life, and I thought maybe I'll give you a glimpse of it, right? So this is, for example, the campus of NLU Delhi, right? This is the library of HNLU Raipur, okay? So you can look at the infrastructure that when you go here, right, you will feel like you've reached somewhere else. They won't look like those ordinary government universities that you find elsewhere, right? This is the kind of infrastructure and quality of studies that they maintain, right? This is the library of the topmost law school in India, NLS Bangalore, one of the best law libraries in the country, okay? Then moot court competitions, right? So a lot of students are apprehensive ki sir, will it be all about studies, or we can do other stuff also, right? So let me tell you that your daily schedule, if I tell you, right, studying in the classroom is just maybe less than 1/4 part of it, right? You do so many other things as part of your law school life. It's you participate in moot court competitions, which I have just shown you on the screen. You can participate in debate competitions. When you go to law school, right, the debates are not like the conventional debates that you've seen in your school, right? These are parliamentary debates where there are three members in a team, and you have a prime minister, you have a deputy prime minister, you have a whip, and then you argue with your opponents, right? So a very good experience. You can go into cultural activities, you can go into dance, music, foreign languages, MUNs, sports. You can create your own bands in school. There are so many things that students do as part of their law school life, right? These law schools have their own cultural fests, they have their sports fests. So all these law school students, they participate in each other's fests, and they enjoy their life, right? So one of this event, as I was mentioning, is moot court competitions, right? So moot court competitions are basically where you have to argue as a lawyer in front of judges. Okay, so there are two teams, two competing teams. You are given a moot problem which you have to prepare a brief on, a legal brief, and then you have to argue, like you can see in the first picture, in front of real judges, right? So it's a wonderful activity that is done in law schools, and students get to participate in international, national competitions, and they fund you completely. Okay, so when I was in law school, we used to go to competitions in India and abroad on colleges fund. Okay, and it's not only about going to these competitions, you obviously get to meet new people, you explore that place, and so many other things, right? So this is something also which is part of law school. As I was mentioning, cultural and sports activities. So every law school has cultural societies, they have moot court societies, they have sports committees. Everything that you want to do in law school is taken care of. Okay, so that is something that is quite amazing, and this is something uh, that you will get to know when you go to law school, right? So how does getting into a top tier law school, it helps your career? Okay, so eventually what happens, right, that there are a lot of schools in India, right? There are a lot of different law schools, including national law schools, then there are private law schools, and then there are law schools in every state, every district of India, right? Is it worth doing law from these law schools, or should we try for the best ones, right? What is so different about these national law schools that all of you should be going for? So let's talk about that. uh, as I was telling you earlier, right, these law schools provide you with a kind of environment and exposure that is unmatched. Okay, the peer group that you study with, the faculties who teach you, right, the kind of environment that you get. People don't even know how Supreme Court, High Court judges look like, right? You only hear in the newspaper or in news, acha, this Supreme Court judge has given this particular judgment, right? These people, they teach you in law schools. Okay, how many of you have heard of Justice Deepak Mishra? He was uh, uh, the Chief Justice of India a couple of years back, right? So he was my professor in law school. He has taught me constitutional law, right? So that is the kind of exposure you get. IS, IPS officers, big professors from across the world, they come and exchange their ideas as part of the law school environment. Moot court competitions, model United Nations, they give you a holistic development. Okay, that is something that law school life is all about. Okay, NLUs are at par with IITs and IIMs. So don't feel like just because we are going into law, okay, we are compromising with our colleges, or NLUs are lesser than uh, 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 IITs or IIMs. Okay, the kind of education that is given, the kind of professors you will find, and the kind of competition you will face to get into these top law schools in the country, right? All of that, you can match it with IITs and IIMs, you will find no difference. Okay, even the placements that the students get, right, that you can match with IITs and IIMs if you go to a topmost law school in India, right? So this is something again which is quite unique, and not many people are aware about it, right? Foreign placements, so many foreign law firms have also started coming to India, and Daksh sir would have definitely told you in the morning, right? They also are hiring NLU grads, right? So Allen and Overy, Linklaters, all of these are topmost law schools in the world, and they are hiring from Indian law schools. You get international internship opportunities. So what happens in law school is, after every semester you have to intern, okay? And those internships you can do in the country, you can do in courts, you can do in law firms, or you can go abroad and you can do internships there. So many people do internships in International Court of Justice. How many of you have heard of it? How many of you have heard of International Court of Justice? Who can tell me where is it? Hague, Netherlands, right? So many people go there and they participate there. Uh, uh, they do internship under judges. They become clerks there. So a very good opportunity. People work in UN. So they work in United Nations, UNDP, UNESCO, UNICEF. They get opportunities there. So a lot of opportunities if you want to get into these fields, right? Most of the law schools have their student faculty exchange programs. So many students from abroad, they come to Indian law schools. You get to go to these law schools and you get to study outside. So that is a wonderful opportunity that you get. And the last point I've already covered, the kind of professors you get are stalwarts of the legal fraternity. So topmost lawyers of the Supreme Court, High Court judges, Supreme Court judges, IAS, IPS officers, topmost professors from international law schools, all of them come and they teach you in these good schools, okay? The last thing that I want to mention before I get into how do you prepare and what are the entrance exams like is the peer group. So a lot of students ना वो बहुत underestimate करते हैं इस चीज को कि जिन लोगों के साथ हम पढ़ रहे हैं, right? वो कैसे होने चाहिए? Do you think they should be mediocre, they should be below you, or they should be very good, right? So what these law schools are able to ensure with their entrance exam and with the limited seats is a very good peer group, okay? So the kind of students that you study with, they always motivate you to do well, okay? So if you are studying with students who are better than you will always feel like doing well, you always feel like working hard, right? If you go to a mediocre law school, what will happen? You will go there and you will feel like I am the best, right? So you will never feel like improving yourself, right? So that is a very big reason why you should always, no matter which field you go into, right? You should always try your best to get into the best schools. Alumni network is very strong in these schools. So placements become very easy. And these alumni, basically, they help you to gain jobs, they help you in getting internships, and also whatever guidance is required in future with respect to your area of study or anything, they help you out, okay? So that is again something unique and very good about law schools, right? Placements, sir would have mentioned in the morning, but just to give you an idea, current placements, average placements for a top law firm in India around 14 to 16 lakhs per annum. Campus recruitment takes place in most of the law schools automatically. Most of the law graduates, they get hired directly when they are in their 4th, 5th year of law school. So even before you have graduated, you have a job in hand, right? That is something that is wonderful about the kind of education and exposure that is given in these top schools, right? Let's talk about the key law entrance exams now, okay? So one obviously is the common law admission test, which is accepted by all the major institutes, especially the 22 national law schools which are part of it. Then you have NLU Delhi. In Delhi, they have a separate entrance exam called ALET, which is All India Law Entrance Test, okay? Then you have LSAT India for Jindal Global Law School and some other law schools in India. You have Maharashtra Law CET for Maharashtra colleges, and then you have various other entrance exams for different law schools across the country, okay? What is the pattern like? So what are the subjects which come in the entrance exam, and what is the weightage like, right? Now, before I go into this, let me tell you that entrance exams, no, they do not test your knowledge, okay? They test your aptitude, how well you can perform under pressure when the clock is ticking. That is what they want to see, okay? If you look at these subjects now, in a way, they have nothing to do with what you will do in your 11th and 12th, okay? Current affairs, general knowledge, you will only gain if you read a good newspaper or you're acquainted with what is happening around you, right? So this is something which is going to be new. Legal reasoning or legal aptitude, again, something that you've never studied. Logical reasoning, again, something that you have never studied. English, apart from grammar, also focuses a lot on your vocabulary and your reading skills, okay? So that is again something which is going to be new for you, right? And then quantitative techniques, which is mathematics, for example, right? Now, how many of you are genuinely scared of mathematics? Raise your hands. How many of you think that this is one subject that we can't handle at all? Okay. As expected, a lot of students, right? Now, the mathematics which come in these law entrances, now, it's only up to 10 standard, okay? And that too very, very basic mathematics. So if you're able to prepare decently in mathematics now, you will get really, really good marks. Only up to 10th standard, 11th, 12th mathematics doesn't come in law entrance exams, okay? So, and also if you look at the weightage of mathematics, right, it's the least out of all the 5 subjects, right? So that way, as I said, as I was mentioning earlier, science, commerce, arts doesn't matter. All the 5 subjects are going to be new for you in that way. And eventually keep in mind, as I said, it's not about how much you know, okay? It's about how much you're actually able to do in those 120 minutes when you're writing the exam under pressure, okay? So when you look at CLAT exam, you get 120 minutes for 150 questions, okay? One for every correct answer, and also there is a negative marking of 0.25, okay? So even if you're able to get, uh, uh, if you're able to solve maybe 130 questions out of 150, right? And many of them are wrong, your score will automatically glide down, okay? So negative marking is also there. So these are the things I always tell this to students, right, that it's not about the subjects in these exams, okay? It's about the competition. If you feel that you are very good, there might be 1,000 students who are even better than you, right? So how do you beat that competition? That is the biggest challenge. And when you prepare these subjects, right, when you start preparing them one by one, you will find out that this is something that you can definitely do over time, okay? It doesn't require any kind of extra special effort, okay? But there are many things that you will have to develop in you, that competitive spirit, okay? How do you solve these 150 questions in 120 minutes? Again, is a big challenge, right? And all these new subjects that you're studying, how do you tackle those? So those are the real challenges that you face when you write these exams, okay? Let's look at the other entrance exam. Now, if the best part about all these law entrance exams is that more or less the subjects are the same, okay? Only approach towards the entrance exam will be a little difficult. Now, many of you would be aware of this, that CLAT exam has changed this year a little bit, okay? So it's not about the subjects. Subjects are exactly the same, okay? What has changed is the way in which they are going to ask you questions now, okay? And I will give you a brief idea about what has changed in the CLAT exam later on, okay? So look at these subjects again in ALIT exam, same 5 subjects: English, general knowledge, legal aptitude, reasoning, and elementary mathematics. You get 1.5 hours, which is 90 minutes, and you have to solve 150 questions, right? So a big challenge. Same goes for symbiosis exam also. You have questions. Now, one thing that again has happened this year is symbiosis has also changed the pattern a little bit. So now the questions have been reduced, okay? So I'll tell you what that new pattern is like. Same goes with Maharashtra Law CET. So a lot of students give this entrance exam also. So you have English, GK, Maths, legal aptitude, logical reasoning, again the same 5 subjects. So more or less, whichever entrance exam you prepare for, you will be preparing for the exact same subjects, okay? The approach, the way in which a question can be asked can be a little different, but when you start preparing, right, you will understand that difference and you can prepare accordingly, okay? These are some of the historical cutoffs for some of the NLUs, the top NLUs. You can see, and updated cutoffs also I'll show you later on. If you want to get into NLS Bangalore, which is the topmost law school, right, you will have to be in the top 65 students, right? It's that tough to get in. So if you don't give your best effort, right, it will be very, very difficult for you to get in, right? Same goes with all the entrance exam, all the colleges that you can see, the competition is quite tough. Last year, as I was mentioning, around 57,000 students applied for this exam. This year, we are expecting it should be around 65 to 70. And then it is increasing at 20% every year. Okay. So you can imagine if you're going to write the exam in 2022, how many students you'll be writing the exam with. The seats will be exactly the same, more or less. If a difference will come, the difference will be of maybe 50 to 100 seats. Okay. So seats are not increasing, but every year the applicants are increasing by 20%. So that's a huge number, right? So prepare well and you won't find the exam difficult, right? Same goes with Maharashtra CET also. You can look at the seats, you can look at the scores, tough competition, right? Okay. Now, one question that will be always there on your mind is, when should we start preparing for law entrances? Okay. And my answer to that question every time is, the day or the minute you've decided that you want to go for law. Okay. That is the moment when you should start preparing for it. Okay. Don't wait for anything. The exams, the pattern, the subjects, or other aspirants that you will be competing with, right? They are not going to wait for you to start, ki, acha, when this student starts the preparation, then only I'll start the preparation, right? As I was mentioning earlier, right? It's not about the subjects, it's about the competition, right? So the more time you spend, preparing, the more time you spend practicing, the more mock tests you take, the more you will feel confident about cracking the exam. Okay, so don't feel like, because I'm in 11th right now, I should chill in my 11th standard, and maybe when I come in 12th, I'll decide if I want to do it or not. Okay, don't waste your time at all, because the minute, the hour, the month that you are not preparing, somebody is, and they have a better chance of uh, uh, getting into these schools. Okay, so keep that in mind. Make the best use of the available time, whatever time. So if you have time in 11th standard, and I can completely understand the students who would be in 11th would be thinking, sir abhi 10th board dekhe hai na, aap bol rahe ho abhi ki 11th mein fir padhna start kar do, right? See, when you start preparing for this, you'll understand that you have to spend only a very, very small chunk of your valuable time in the week towards this preparation. Nobody is saying you should prepare from the first day like it's your last day of the exam. No, you can prepare, and you can increase your time in maybe 6 months, 8 months, depending on what subjects and how you are getting them, right? So don't feel like from the day one that you have to spend 5 hours a day studying. You only have to spend maybe 5 to 6 hours in a week, and that should be more than enough. Okay, so don't waste your time, especially, as I said, all these subjects that you're preparing for, right, all of them are going to be new to you in some way or the other. So if you spend more time preparing for critical reasoning or legal reasoning or GK sections for the new CLAT pattern, for example, right, it will make it much more easier for you, right? So that way, keep in mind that don't waste at all any of your time in future. Whenever you decide, whenever you get that clarity, and I hope you get some clarity today, begin your preparation. Okay, now let me tell you what are the subjects are like. Okay, so I was mentioning earlier that there are 5 subjects. So what exactly do these subjects cover? Okay, so you can see here some of the syllabus which comes in the law entrances. So VA stands for verbal ability. So you will see parts of speech, articles, vocabulary related, one word substitution, odd man out. Look at the mathematics, problem solving, numbers, BODMAS, LCM, HCF, percentages, averages, and mixtures. These are some things which it's not like you've done it in 10th standard. You've done it starting your 6th, 7th, 8th standard, right? So that kind of mathematics comes, right? Look at logical reasoning. The LR portion that you can see is the logical reasoning section. So you will see coding, decoding, symbol based logic, family tree. So this son's mother is my aunt, right? So for example, that is a question. That is an example of a family tree question, right? So similar questions you get as part of this topic. Then you will see general awareness also. And LA stands for legal aptitude, the one legal reasoning which I was talking about. So you will see topics like nuisance, trespass, defamation. Is anybody here who has ever heard of these topics? Can you make any sense out of it? Very good. So I'm very happy that many of you are already aware of it, but these subjects are exceptionally interesting. Okay, when you start reading them, and I'll show you I'll give you 2, 3 questions to solve, you will find that these are things which happen around us, right? So it uses our logic, obviously, and obviously how much we have studied both of these things, they play a very good role. So negligence, all of these things. Similarly, this is, for example, second part of your preparation, right? You will see more topics in verbal, mathematics, GK, legal aptitude for like criminal law. So criminal law is also part of your syllabus. Contract law also comes as part of your syllabus. Constitutional law is part of your syllabus. So the syllabus is wide, but at the same time, it is extremely, extremely interesting. Okay. So these are the different topics that come as part of your entrance exam preparation. Okay. So see, in this question, what do we have to do? So we have to look at the principle which says theft is the dishonest moving of property. So you should have a dishonest intention, and you should move a property with the intention of taking it out of a person's possession. Possession मतलब क्या होता है कि मेरे पास कुछ चीज है और किसी ने ले ली, तो मेरी possession से कुछ चीज किसी ने ले ली without his consent. तो अब ये जो चीज है जो प्रिंसिपल में लिखी हुई है ना, मुझे इसको सेटिस्फाई करना है फैक्ट्स के अंदर, ठीक है? सो इज देयर अ डिसऑनेस्ट इंटेंशन ऑन हिज पार्ट? द आंसर इज यस. डिड ही move the property? Did he move the coat? He did, with the intention of taking it out of person's possession. Now whose possession is the coat in right now? किसके possession में है coat अभी? It is in the possession of the dry cleaner, right? So he took it out of the possession of the dry cleaner without his consent, which means the answer will be A. Shahid is guilty of theft because he has met all the requirements which are given in the principle. So that is how you approach a question in legal reasoning. You are not allowed to go outside the principle. You don't have to go outside the facts. You have to select an option which you think is closest to the principle. Let's solve one more question and then you'll understand as to how it is to be done. Read this question. A person has no legal remedy for an injury caused by an act to which he has consented. Okay? A person has no legal remedy for an injury caused by an act to which he has consented. Facts are a cricket enthusiast purchases a ticket to watch a T20 match organized by IPL. During the match, a ball struck for 6 hits R on his body and injures him. He sues IPL for compensation for the medical expenses. What will happen? Is IPL bound to give him compensation? Here the answer will be B. Okay, R would fail in his action as he voluntarily exposed himself to the risk. So what does the principle say? A person has no legal remedy for an injury caused by an act to which he has consented. The minute I decide कि नहीं मेरे को तो क्रिकेट मैच देखने जाना है, मुझे पता है कि अगर मैं स्टेडियम में बैठा हूँगा स्टैंड्स में तो बॉल आके लग सकती है. I knew that fact beforehand. ठीक है? In spite of knowing this, I decided कि नहीं, I will go and watch the cricket match, which means I have given my consent. The minute I bought the ticket, I have consented to what might happen inside. But ऐसी चीजें जो नॉर्मल कोर्स ऑफ एक्शन में होती है, ऐसा नहीं कि स्टेडियम का छत आपके सर पे गिर गया और आप सुई नहीं कर सकते क्योंकि आपने तो कंसेंट कर दिया था मैच देखने के लिए. नॉट दैट, ओके, बट अ नेचुरल इंजरी विच यू हैव वॉलंटियर्ड फॉर. ओके, तो आंसर क्या होगा इस केस में? आंसर विल बी बी. ठीक है, let's solve one more. Yes, any direct physical interference with goods in somebody's possession without lawful justification is called trespass of goods. Okay, any direct physical interference with goods in somebody's possession without lawful justification is called trespass of goods. Facts: Z purchased the car from a person who had no title to it. Title मतलब होता है कि वो ओनर नहीं था उसका. ठीक है, and send it to a garage for repair. X, believing wrongly that the car was his, removed it from the garage. What is he responsible for? The correct answer in this case will be A. X can be held responsible for trespass of goods because it doesn't matter, okay, whose car was it, okay, or whether from where we have taken that car. What is important in this case to decide whether X is liable or not is the simple question कि direct physical interference था क्या? Was it with respect to goods in somebody else's possession? Yes. तो Z के पास वो कार थी जो उसने रिपेयर के लिए भेज दी थी और वो कार रिपेयर में थी, तो जो रिपेयरमैन था उसके पोजेशन में वो कार थी, राइट? X ने उस रिपेयरमैन से उसके पोजेशन से वो कार निकाल ली without any lawful justification, right? And therefore he will be liable for trespass of goods. Okay, so this is how you have to approach a question in legal reasoning. Okay, if you don't basically follow the principle, right, you will get your answer wrong every single time. ठीक है, एक बात का ध्यान रखना कि ऐसे क्वेश्चंस में ना हमको बाहर का आउटसाइड नॉलेज नहीं यूज करना है, ठीक है, वी हैव टू अप्लाई व्हाट इज गिवन एज पार्ट ऑफ द लीगल प्रिंसिपल। एंड दिस ईयर बिकॉज CLAT pattern has changed, you will see a different kinds of questions as part of CLAT exam, very lengthy paragraph based questions. So when you start preparing for it, you will get an idea as to what kind of questions are those and how do you tackle those questions. Now that we have covered a lot of things with respect to law schools and questions and pattern, right? Now we will move on to how we can help you reach these top colleges, right? Now, as you're aware, that I'm a lead mentor for IMS, and IMS is one of the oldest test pioneers in India. Okay, in fact, we were one of the first institutes in India who actually started preparing students for entrance exams all across India for especially for management. Right now, the kind of faculty that you will find, especially the ones who teach you legal aptitude and GK, right? All of them are the ones who have graduated from the topmost national law schools in the country. Okay, these are people who have first-hand experience of going through the exact same process that you will be going for, right? And keep in mind, it's not about the subjects that they teach. Okay, it's about the experience that they provide, okay, to all of you, because throughout the process it's very important that you remain motivated, right? So a person who has gone through the same process or who has graduated from these NLUs, right, he knows what it takes to be there, right? And this is something that it plays a very important pivotal role in taking you to these colleges, right? The classroom studies and workshops that we do, as I said, see, what we specialize in apart from the subjects is what can take you to that top national law schools or your dream college that you aspire for. Okay, every student here also is different, right? You have your own strengths and weaknesses, and our mentors, our faculties, they focus on that particular aspect as to how can that particular student reach that cutoff score which he or she needs to get into these schools, right? And that is the reason, apart from your classroom teaching, we also focus on exam specific workshops and also your all-round mentoring. Okay, because as I said, maybe after a month after you start, right, slowly, when I was preparing for CLAT exam way back in 2011-12, right, I was exactly like you. Okay, I also was very excited in the beginning because you prepare for a longer time, right? Slowly that goes down. Okay, and one thing that I saw was, because I also had an NLU mentor, right? The NLU mentor constantly kept me motivated throughout the entire process. Our sir used to tell us every single day, why is it important to go there, right? What is it like to be there? What is the exposure you will get there? What is the kind of life you can expect in future, right? So that kind of mentoring is very important, and that is something that we specialize in, right? The kind of resources that are given to you, online resources, offline resources, your books, your tests, they're unmatched. Okay, and I'll just show you after some time as to what is the online portal of IMS is like. Okay, and all the students who are attending this session today and you attended the morning session, right, all of you will be getting access to our online portal for 7 days. Okay, completely free of cost, so that you also know what kind of tests come. You can access our topic wise tests. You can access some of our video lectures and some other resources which I'll tell you in a while. That is again going to give you a very good idea about what you can expect in future. Parent student feedback sessions are also given from time to time, so that all of you are engaged in the same process. Okay, because most of the time you are at home, and I hope many parents also will be joining us right now. So parents, if they know where the student stands, right, they can also motivate all of you as to how do you reach that destination of yours, right? So if I talk about the programs right now, all of you know that right now there is a crisis situation all around the world, right? But this crisis, how do we convert it to an opportunity? That is something that we should look forward to, right? And just because we can't go out, just because we can't attend physical lectures, that does not mean that our preparation for any of these entrance exams should be delayed, right? कि अभी तो लॉकडाउन शायद 3 महीने ना खुले या 1 महीने ना खुले या 2 महीने ना खुले. Nobody is aware of anything. There is no certainty with respect to the same, right? So we should not waste our time. As I said, the minute you decide that you want to go for an entrance exam, that is the day that you should begin your preparation, right? So one of the programs that we have come up with is a blended law program for both the students who are going for exam in 21, as well as students for all the students who are going to give the exam in 2022. Okay, so what is this blended program? Okay, now right now all of you are not capable of going physically to a center, and most of the IMS centers obviously will be closed because of the government regulations, right? So what this blended program gives you is that you can start your preparation online right now, and within a few months or whenever the government allows the centers to open in, you can directly shift to the centers and you can physically study in those classrooms. Okay, as part of this program, you will get your online live classes, you will get those physical classes also whenever the centers open, you will get 20 plus ebooks, print version obviously whenever it is possible to send that, 150 hours of learning sessions offline plus online, up to 200 hours of practice classes and workshops. So all of these things are there because see, it's not only about knowing the subject, it's also about practicing it, it's also about taking mock tests, identifying where you are going wrong, and then improving yourself and reaching that cutoff score. That entire process, okay, is covered as part of this program. Okay, so books, material, your mock test for every single entrance exam, as you can see the number on the screen, your video classes, recorded lectures, your physical classes, uh, your guidance with respect to form filling, after you get your results, which college should you go to, a comparative analysis, everything is part of this program. Okay, and that will be the same obviously for 1 year students if you're giving right now. 2 year students, obviously because they have more time, they will be able to engage themselves in a much better way, because in second year when they are in 12th standard, uh, their entire focus will be on practice and test taking. So let me tell you what is the difference between this 1 year and 2 year program. Okay, so what happens is if you are in the 12th standard right now, or if you've just arrived in 12th, or if you've just finished with your 12th and you are planning to give maybe exam this year or next year, right? Then if you're planning next year in 2021, any student, you should go for the 1 year program. Okay, and how does that program basically works is you begin right now. Okay, and your concept lectures, your doubt solving, all of these things, they take place up to December. Okay, then because your boards will come in, then you get a break in between for your boards. Okay, after you come back from your boards, your workshops will take place, your past paper sessions will take place, your mock test analysis, all of these things which are very, very important in that time frame, those things will take place, and then you will write the exam in the month of May. Okay, that is how it generally works. Okay, then what happens with the 2 year students? Now 2 year students have more time. Okay, so what 2 year students do after they begin in their 11th standard, they similarly, they will begin with their concept classes right now, it will go up to December, then you will have some doubt solving sessions in between because you don't have boards, right? And after those doubt solving sessions, you will have your basically revisor sessions. Okay, so when you are in the 11th standard, your entire syllabus is covered with your revision as well as with your doubt solving, so that when you come in your 12th standard, when you have the additional pressure of boards, right, that time you can focus completely on your practice as well as test taking. So there will be practice sessions, there will be workshops, there will be regular mock test solving, you will get national ranks for these mock tests that you take, and that's applicable to both 1 year and 2 year students. So that is how it is spanned out in 1 year and 2 year program. Okay, now for all the students who don't want to go to physical classrooms at all, okay, you want to study at home, okay, virtually, uh, So for those students, we have a completely online live classes program. You don't need to come to the center at all. If you're preparing for 1 year or you're preparing for 2 years, it doesn't matter. Okay, you can prepare from home, and whatever I just talked about, right, all of those things you will get as part of your online classes. Okay, so that is again something which will be covered as part of your classes. Okay, and when you interact with us one on one, right, we will tell you about more features of this program, which will help you, as I said, in studying for the next 1 year and 2 years. In this online live classes program, right, all of your classes will take place online. Okay, from your center. All of them will be live classes. Okay, so don't feel like they are recorded lectures which have been done and you just have to watch them. Okay, these all will be live classes. If by chance, if you're not able to attend some of the classes, you will get your recording session also. You will get practice classes, you will get your ebooks as well as hard copy versions whenever it is possible. Concept videos, mock tests, all of the things that I mentioned earlier, you will get it as part of this online live classes also. So anybody who wants to go only for online, you have this choice also. Okay. Same goes with correspondence. Anybody who doesn't wish to go with classes and other things, you can take the video learning content, you can take the ebooks, you can you will get the topic wise test, you will get the GK material, you will get the current affairs quizzes, every single part of your preparation apart from your classes, you will get as part of the correspondence classes. Okay, so this is again one of the option. If you want to exercise, you can. Okay, so this is our success. Now obviously we couldn't fit every student who has successfully been able to go to the topmost law schools, but obviously students have prepared well, and since we have been preparing, we have been able to send students to every single top law school that is there in our country, and some of them, as you can see, are there on your screen, right? Uh, to give you an idea about the IMS online batches, so there are two kinds of batches, one of which has been launched on 5th of July. So if you wish to go only for a weekend batch, right? If you want to prepare only on Saturdays and Sundays, this is one batch that you can go for, which has just started last week. Classes on Saturday, as you can see, are in the late evening, and then on Sunday from 10 to 11:30 and 12 to 1:30. Similarly, there is a new batch which will be launched on 16th of July. That will be a weekday batch, 3 days in a week, Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Saturday, your class will be 6 to 7:30 p.m. for legal aptitude or GK. And then you will have the remaining classes from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. on the Tuesdays and Thursdays. Okay, so these are some of the new batches that we have launched. Now these are completely online batches. Okay, so if you want to go completely online, you can go for these batches. Anybody who wants to go for a blended program, because eventually that is something that always students choose, because they want to come to the center, they want to study there. So if you can, absolutely, if you cannot come to the center, then online batches are recommended. But if you feel like, after lockdown, I will definitely come to the center, I would like to interact with the faculty physically at the center, then blended programs are the ones that you should definitely try for. Okay, get in touch with your nearest IMS center, and they will give you a detailed information with respect to which are the blended course batches which have just started. Also, you can get in touch with me as well as Swanand sir, who is the head of our undergraduate programs in India. We have written our emails here. So if you have any queries, if you have any questions later on, apart from what we do right now, you can get in touch with us on these emails also. Okay, and don't feel shy, feel free to send your queries to us, and we'll definitely be replying to you. We'll be happy to answer all of your questions. Okay. You can also connect with us on Instagram. We also have a YouTube channel, as you know, IMS Careers After 12th. You can go there also, and you will find a lot of videos on how to prepare, and you will also find interactive videos with past year toppers. Okay, so that is again something that you can look forward to. So I think this is it with respect to what I thought I'll talk to you about. Now I will open the floor for questions. So if you have any questions or doubt, feel free to put them. and I'll be really happy to answer those questions. So what are the subjects that we have to study during BA LLB 5 years? So subjects in law, right? There are a lot of different subjects that you will study in law school. In the first few semesters of law school, you will study some BA or BBA subjects, whichever you go for. And then you will find a lot of different law subjects like law of contracts, corporate law, intellectual property law, constitutional law, whichever area is you are interested in, you can specialize in those areas in future. Okay, around, if I tell you a ballpark figure, it is around 45 to 50 subjects, okay, in 10 semesters that you'll be taught as part of law school, Ashwin. Okay, how much would the online classes cost? Niharika, you can get in touch with our centers, or you can just drop us an email. Okay, we will get back to you on the fee and other things. Okay, how do we prepare for legal reasoning? So as I said, see, in legal reasoning, the approach is that first you get yourself thorough with all the subjects in different you get thorough with different topics as part of a legal aptitude subject, right? So you begin with understanding of law of torts. The questions that we did were part of an area of law called law of torts. Okay, then you will study contract law, then you will study criminal law, constitutional law, you will study legal GK also, right? And then slowly, then you start practicing all of these questions one by one. Okay, so as part of your course module, you will be given concept books also, so that you can understand the concepts, plus you will be given practice books also. Okay, so you can practice questions, you can take online test. In fact, every single topic that you're studying in class, right, there is an online test for it. So that is again something that you can do. Okay, how are we able to make prep for CLAT in 11th standard? So Piyush, if you are in 11th standard right now, right, you can begin your prep in the 11th standard itself. The classes, as I said, are only on the weekends, and you can prepare for the next 1 year, because when you are in the 11th standard, right, when you don't have boards, your entire syllabus, your revision, your doubt solving, all of these things are covered. Okay, when you go in your 12th standard, as I said, when you have the additional pressure of boards, that time the entire focus is on solving more questions, taking more tests, identifying your mistakes, improving them. So subjects you've already understood in 11th, your entire focus will be on practice and test taking and analysis in your 12th standard. Okay, so it becomes much more easy. Yeah, sir, we can also do with BCom. Is there scope with it? So eventually, Siddharth, are you talking about BCom LLB, or are you saying that you should do 3-year BCom and then do law? BCom LLB, right? So generally, see, there are very, very few colleges which offer a BCom LLB, and considering that eventually it's not about BCom or BBA or BA, right? Keep in mind, try your best to get into the best law school. Okay, BCom or BBA or BA is not going to decide which career or which kind of job you get in future. Okay, considering that there are very few options in BCom, you will limit your college to that only. Okay, which you shouldn't do. So that is something that keep in mind. Try your best to go into the best colleges, irrespective of which degree you are going for. Okay, and don't think that if you're a commerce student, you won't understand BA or you won't understand uh, 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 other subjects. Okay, you can easily do it. The level of studies is not that difficult, especially for BA and others. What are the career options in India if one take corporate law? So you can, so corporate law obviously will be a subject. There are different laws which are part of it. So when you prepare or when you take this subject, right, you can go into law firms where most of the corporate lawyers work. You can go and work as an in-house counsel. So sir would have told you in the morning also that every big company, they have their own legal department. Okay, and then lawyers are hired for those legal department. For example, consider Reliance. So Reliance, they have their own legal department, and these in-house counsels, they work for this department also. So that option is also there with you. You can work in foreign law firms, you can work in Indian law firms, you can work in companies abroad. So a lot of options are there. Okay, which should be preferred, 3-year LLB or 5-year LLB? Okay, now this is a very important question. A lot of students ask me this. See, if you are in your 11th 12th standard right now, you should never consider 3-year LLB. Your obvious choice should always be to get into 5-year law. Okay, because national law schools, which I've been telling you about, right, they only offer a 5-year program. NLUs don't offer a 3-year program. Okay, but if you are in your second year of graduation, or if you're in your third year of graduation, right, then there is no need to go for 5-year law, because it will take you 8 years to do law, right? It doesn't make any sense. So if you are in your 11th, 12th, or if you're even if you are in your first year of graduation, right, you can consider 5-year law as a very good option. Okay. For others, for example, who are in their second, third year of graduation, people who are preparing for CS, for example, they do a lot of 3-year law. So such students can go for 3-year law. Okay. But an obvious choice should be, you should try your best to go for national law schools. Okay. What should I do after 12th standard? So if you have finished your 12th, Piyush, and if you are thinking of writing CLAT exam this year, so you can write the exam this year. If you feel like ki nahi, I should give it a best shot and I can give it next year, prepare for this 1 year and give the exam next year also. Okay. What our objective always is, and what I always recommend the students is, never compromise with your college. Okay. Just because हमको फटाफट law school में admission लेना है तो किसी में भी ले ले, that is not the correct approach. Okay. So keep that in mind. Even if you're finished 12th, right, don't hesitate from taking a drop if you're determined कि नहीं, I have to get into a top school. I know so many toppers. In fact, if I tell you the figures, right, around 25 to 30% of the toppers every year in CLAT are all repeat takers. Okay, because they have decided earlier on that we never have to compromise with our college. Okay, so if they are not able to make it into the college of their choice, they write an attempt one more time and they get into the college where they want to. Okay, so that is something that you can look forward to. I think Jhalak, I have covered your question also. Arya has asked the question, what is the scope for law in startup space? So see, irrespective of which company you go to, whether it's a startup or established company, all of them require lawyers. Okay, all of them have to meet with the government regulations. उनको भी laws follow करने हैं. तो ये मत सोचना कि startup ecosystem में lawyers का जगह ही नहीं है. In fact, let me tell you, lawyers have also gone on and have come up with very good startups in India. So there are many good companies which have been set up by law graduates. Okay, so you can go for it. In fact, there is an area called media and entertainment laws, right? So all these OTT platforms which are coming up, all these new startups are coming up, they all require lawyers. Okay, so don't feel like in startup space there is no requirement of lawyers. Lawyers are required everywhere. Okay, which group should I opt for in the 11th and 12th grade? So as I said, Uttara, I think you joined a little bit late, right? But as I mentioned, there are two criteria on deciding a stream. First, that it should interest you. Whichever stream you go into, it should interest you. And second, you should be able to handle it along with your preparation. ठीक है? Because अगर आपने साइंस मैथ्स ले लिया या ऐसा फील्ड ले लिया जिसमें ज़्यादा आपको इंटरेस्ट नहीं है, या इंटरेस्ट भी है बट यू फील लाइक कि नहीं, this is not something which I can handle along with your entrance exam preparation, no harm in dropping it. Okay, take subjects which you can prepare for your entrance exam with. Okay, any examples of such companies? Are you talking about startup companies? Okay, so there are startups like Law Seekho, there are startups like iPleaders. These are all companies which have started by lawyers. Okay, and they're doing exceptionally well in their field. Okay, so majority of the companies you will find, they will be obviously in the law area. Okay, Kirit B. Mehta School of Law, Tisha. So Kirit B. Mehta School of Law is part of NMIMS. They have done really well, okay, in the past couple of years, because not many batches have passed out, but the quality of education they are giving, the kind of placement students are getting out of Kirit B. Mehta, they are very good. Okay, and one big advantage is that because Kirit B. Mehta is in Mumbai, that gives a very good opportunity to intern, because internships are also a very important part of law school. So in Mumbai, you will find all the top law firms, companies, everything. So when you prepare or when you study at Kirit B. Mehta or any good school like that, you get that advantage. Okay, so that advantage is there with Kirit B. Mehta also. Okay, and wonderful faculties for sure. Okay, campus life, faculties, placements. Faculty is pretty good, placements also pretty good. Campus life, see, eventually you won't find a campus life like NLUs in Kirit B. Mehta School of Law, because NLUs are residential colleges. Okay, so when you go to NLUs, you have to stay on the campus. Okay, so you won't find those facilities in NMIMS, but overall it's a very good school. So Raghav, books to be referred for CLAT. So eventually, see, keep in mind that there is no one book which you can refer and you will be able to crack CLAT. Okay, it's a different set of books, because you get 5 different subjects, and when you enroll into the program, right, you will get access to all of those books, including concept book, practice books, mock test solving, and so many other things. Okay, so that is covered as part of your program. St. Xavier's, again, see, eventually don't just go on the name. It's a very average, decent college, I would say. Okay, not a very preferred option. If you really want to go to a school in Kolkata, you should try for NUJS in Salt Lake. Okay, National University for Juridical Sciences in Kolkata. That is the college that you should try for. Christ University Vignesh is also a decent option. I won't consider it a preferred choice. You can keep it open as a backup option. How can I prepare for CLAT along with my 12th standard? So eventually, see, when you prepare along with your 12th, right, your classes are generally 5 to 6 hours in a week maximum. Okay, 6 hours a week is the maximum classes that you will do. Okay, so in the weekdays, you can easily prepare for your boards, along with you can do tuitions and other things. You don't have to give that much time from the very beginning. Okay, you can give maybe 6 hours of studies, 6 hours of online classes or whatever classes you do, right? And then maybe 3-4 hours in a week maximum just to revise what you've done. One thing that you need if you are in 12th standard, right, uh, is that eventually you will have to be very, very consistent with your prep. Okay, you can't decide ki nahi, I will study maybe once in a month. That won't work. Okay, you will have to prepare on a weekly basis, even if you prepare for 2-3 hours, and that will help you a lot when you go towards your board exams. Okay, because till December you can follow the same process. You can give regular tests, you can attend the classes on the weekends, you can study 2-3 hours in a week, and that should be more than enough. When your boards are over, then you have to completely focus on your entrance exam. Those times the classes will also be every single day, right? You will have to write mock tests, you will have to attend workshops, so that will be the high time. Okay, so it's not like you can't manage. Every student who goes for these exams, right, they are of your same age, they are from the same 11th and 12th standard that you are studying in. Okay, so it's easily manageable, so don't worry about that. Can you please point out some pros about NUJS? So NUJS is one of the topmost NLUs in India. It's in the top 5 in India. Topmost faculties, topmost placements. The peer group is excellent. Okay. In fact, you can go to our YouTube channel, IMS Careers After 12th, and we have posted an interaction with our past toppers, and one of which, Kashish, she's from NUJS Kolkata, and she has explained about NUJS Kolkata and what they do as part of their law school. Okay. So I think, Jaya, you can go to our YouTube page, and there you will get a very good understanding of it. How many hours should I study for in a day? See, if you are just beginning right now in 11th or 12th, right, maximum 1 hour in a day should be more than enough, apart from your classes. Okay, slowly you can increase, because see, eventually if you immediately start studying 3 to 4 hours in a day, right, you will be bored in a week's time. Okay, don't do that. Begin maybe with half an hour, then slowly in 2 weeks time make it 45 minutes, then make it 1 hour, and as much time as you get, try to spend it towards the entrance exam preparation. Okay, because let me tell you what I had mentioned earlier. Even if you get 95% in 12th, right, and if you're not able to crack the CLAT exam or other exams, right, you will not be able to get into this law school. But agar 75% bhi aa gaya aur hamara CLAT nikal gaya, so nobody is going to ask you how much you scored in your 12th. Okay, except your mothers. They are definitely going to ask you how much you scored in 12th. Okay, will there be any ragging issues? No. So ragging is something that I've seen in law schools. Law schools have a very healthy culture, okay, with respect to the interaction between juniors and seniors. Seniors in law school, basically they are your guardians. Okay, they will help you with your internships, they will help you with your jobs, they will help you with your projects and many other things. Okay, so the kind of environment of ragging that you find in other schools, right, this is something that you won't find in national law schools. National law schools are very strict about these, all these things. Okay, is BA LLB good or honors? So it's kind of the same. Okay, so there is not much of a difference between only BA LLB or BA LLB honors. It depends from college to college. Okay, what should we do after BA LLB to become a judge? So most of the students actually don't know that you can become a judge at the age of 23, 24. Okay, eventually you can just write an exam. So in Delhi, for example, you can write an exam called DJS, which is Delhi Judicial Services. Similar exams are there in every part of India. after your law school is over, in fact, in your 5th year, you can write that exam. If you clear it, you can become a judge. Okay, so that's a very good option which all the students have. So one more thing that I've mentioned earlier is that I've given you the email IDs for both of us. Even after this session, if you have any more queries or doubts, you can ask me those questions on the email also. TNNLS is a good NLU or not? It's a decent college. I won't say it's one of the topmost. It's a decent college and you can definitely try for it. Okay. But compared to other NLUs, it's comparatively new. Okay. So that way, uh, you will find that the faculties, the students, the level of which is not the same. Okay, but it's a decent choice. But try your best to get into other schools first, and comparing colleges and other things we can do later on also. Okay, when you have the options in your hand, we'll help you out. Out of those options, which are the best colleges to go for. Okay, and as I said, all of you have gotten free access for 7 days for our online portal. So let me quickly tell you how to access it. Okay, so all you have to do is the My IMS portal on your screen, right? So what you have to do is you have to go to this link, myims.imsindia.com. Then you will get your option to put your username and password. So the username and password that has been given to you, put that username and password, select law from the drop down menu, because you will find UG, CAT, other options. Select law there, click on login and you will reach this page. Okay, so you will find videos here which you have received the free access to. Okay, so concept videos and recap videos, these two things you will find here. Okay, concept videos and recap videos. So here module wise videos are given. Okay, so click on any of them and you can check it out. Okay, as well as topic wise tests have also been given to you. Okay, so each of the topics which are relevant, those topics also you can access in the test section. Okay, in the topic wise test section. So this is something that you can do, right? And whenever you become part of the program, you will get access to many other things. As you can see, the analytics section where you get a detailed analysis of how you've performed. In the learn section, you will get recordings of different lectures. In test section also, you get different tests. On the channel, these videos on how to prepare various tips and other things, right? Different resources are also available. So let me show you the GK resources. So GK is given to you regularly on a weekly basis. Okay, so what you have to do is you have to go to the resources, click on weekly current affairs snippets, go to 2020, and then you select any month and you will find GK in this format. So very detailed format, topic wise detailed news, which you can refer on a weekly basis. Okay, so this is also there. There is another resource called Fact Bites where GK is given in a tabular format. Okay, then you have other resources for GK, form filling guidelines. All of these things are available. Okay, ebooks, whenever you enroll, you get access to ebooks immediately. So you will find books for every single subject here, practice books, concept books, all of these things. Okay, plus you get regular updates as to which forms have come out, when do you write the tests, all of these things here. Okay, you can see the event section and the update section. These things come here. Okay, this entire My IMS portal will be accessible to all of you whenever you enroll for the program, whichever program you want to go for. As of now, as part of the 7-day free program, you will get access to our pre-recorded lectures in the Learn portal. Okay, and also you will get topic-wise tests. So you can access those things by going on this link, log in, and you will reach this portal. So Raghav, it's not like just because you fail to clear CLAT, there is an end to our law career. Okay, there are various entrance exams which you can write, and that is the reason I have told you about so many of them. Okay, so what generally students do, they write 4 to 5 entrance exams. If they get into all of them, they can choose which one they want to go for. Okay, but if one doesn't work out, you should always have good backup options open. ठीक है, so CLAT नहीं हुआ तो कोई बात नहीं. ठीक है, अभी से हमको ये नहीं देखना है कि हमारा होगा कि नहीं होगा. अभी हमको ये डिसाइड करना है कि are we willing to work hard or not. Okay, if you've decided, then start working on it. And if you work hard enough, there's no way you cannot crack this exam. Okay, so don't think of not getting in. Okay, think of how I can get in there and what kind of work I need to do to get there. Okay, so I think this should be enough for today. um, I've answered all of your queries. I've also given you the email ID also. So by chance, if you get any queries in future, get in touch with me or Swanand sir. We'll be very, very happy to help you out in future. Thank you everyone for joining in. I hope that you were able to understand something. I hope you enjoyed the session today. We'll be keeping such sessions in future also for all of you, so that you get all the clarity which is required for your career in future. Keep in mind that the career decision is too important of a decision to be taken lightly. Okay, so what you decide right now is going to decide the next 30-35 years of your life, right? So if something is that important, then we have to take it seriously. Whatever expert guidance is required, we will help you out. Okay, so thank you everyone. Take care of yourself and get in touch with us in case you need any kind of help in future. Okay, thank you everyone. Take care of yourself.